Now that is impressive. It is truly wow inspiring. And not only because of the number, which was really impressive, hundreds of thousands of people gathering in Washington D.C. for this rally, but the reason I find it to be truly amazing and wow inspiring has to do with how organically it came about. This rally with this many people took place without the usual Soros, Rockefeller, Gates, all the deep state billionaires funded organizations, non-governmental organizations, the NGOs. It happened truly organic. That is what makes it really impressive. Because you know how they go about doing it, right? They have these NGOs with hundreds of millions of dollars in operation. I'm talking about the New World Order left, right? MoveOn.org, Change.org, etc., etc. You're familiar with all of them. And of course, all the related pseudo-alternative networks and the mainstream media. So when we see some rallies taking place from the other side, we are looking at hundreds of millions of dollars given by these usual suspects, the usual billionaires, promoted heavily, organized by so many sophisticated networks whose job has been this, right? Well, this rally with this many people so very impressively taking place in DC took place without all those on these activists' side. Now that's what makes it really impressive. There weren't any ads out there, advertisements by the Craigslist, remember those by Soros? Paying people, paying people really good money to go participate in a rally or a protest, or as we have seen lately, in riots and lootings and violence, right? So when you get hundreds of thousands of people pulling it off so successfully, we have to pause, we have to give standing ovation. We must feel good. This is when we have to be truly reminded that this is no time for defeatism. This is no time for pessimism. This is no time to just give up. See, this rally, at least for me, and it should be for you as well, revives that hope. It should energize us. How could it not? It was done despite the fact that the entire mainstream media is funded, managed, directed by the deep state. This rally took place despite the fact that all these deep state billionaires, the New World Order deep state billionaires, fund the other side, and they had nothing to do with this rally. The organization, the logistics, all the communications, right, that it takes to pull off a rally like this with this many people, all organically taking place. You see, this is when we say we can. Together we can. We can do it, despite the fact that all these odds are set against us. Brick walls, brick walls, brick walls. When you think of it, really, when you think of it, think of anything that that was throughout the human history, okay? Truly meaningful on the side of the good. Has it ever been easy? Has it ever been really smooth? You can think of anything you want as examples. You can think of Jesus. You can think of Muhammad. You can think of Moses. If you want, think of Gandhi. Think of the America's own revolutionary wars. So to expect that things should be easy or extremely smoothly feasible, well, that is really, really unreasonable. It's not logical. Not only that, look at the examples I just gave. We are talking about when people do things for the people, the good things. That's when things get really difficult. That's when we face all these obstacles. Now, let me come back to today's time. I was looking at CNN, right? Downplaying this rally. Downplaying this massive, wow-inspiring rally in DC. And you know what they did? You just watched the video, right? That was just a few minutes or 1 minute worth of shots of this big rally yesterday. CNN turned it to be a few thousands. Only a few thousand right-wing extremist Trump supporters protested in DC. And of course, there was nothing about these attacks, these violent attacks, right? Targeting these peaceful rally participants, demonstrators, waged by the New World Order left. No mention of this. No, it never has been. Come on, you know it. We all know it, right? Now, believe me, instead of hundreds of thousands of people, let's say if we had 150, 200 people protesting in front of the White House, right? From the other side, New World Order left. Now that, they would have had it on their front page and they would have publicized it as a massive dissent. Look at these people, right? And the number probably would have been multiplied by thousands. We all know it. I know that I am saying things that you all know it. Because I know people who are tuning in to this channel, all of you are not from this mainstream media brainwashed side of our population. I know that. But the level of hypocrisy gets to be so obvious, so transparent in so many ways. Yet, this took place. Okay, they had to go and get the permits. I mean, people transporting themselves, especially during this fascistic COVID craze times, right? When it's so hard to even get anywhere by public transportation, whether it's the planes or the trains, etc. You made it happen, and it is truly significant. For me, I was so energized. I wish I could have been there. I really wish I could have been there. It injected me with this level of enthusiasm, this level of hope that I haven't experienced in a long time. So that's the main reason I decided to record this brief, unplanned, as the previous one, unedited, spontaneous, heart-to-heart, unplugged session to to tell those people who went to Washington, D.C., okay, despite all the difficulties. We know it's difficult. I know how difficult it is. I know how hard it would be for me to do it. And I'm sure it's equally, if not harder, for so many of the participants, right? I wanted to do it publicly. I did it. I did it on social media. I tweeted a few messages and said so. But I wanted to do it with this video as well. I want to do it using my voice. Not that my voice is pretty at all. Look at you, all of you who participated in this, and tell you that I love you. I want to thank you. It's not something small to just be mentioned or even glossed over. It is so meaningful. It was so meaningful what you did. And for those of us who couldn't be there, it meant so much. It made a big difference, even psychologically in our moods. Being down, I too get to be down a lot of times. It happens. The times that I sigh and then I sigh again and I keep thinking, all these odds are stacked up against us. How are we going to overcome this? How are we going to overcome the obstacle presented by not having the power of media, the power of many of the social media platforms, communication platforms? It's all theirs, whether it's Facebook, Zuckerberg, whether it's Twitter, Washington Post owned by Bezos, Pierre Omidyar, deep state, New World Order operative billionaire, has that publication Intercept, a supposed alternative media, CNN. I always end up hysterically chuckling when I say CNN because it's one of the worst out there. Yes, the media, the communication, all these NGOs, look at all these NGOs. Actually, it's a good point. See, I told you it was going to be spontaneous. It's a good point to bring up. Because the New World Order left, or the die-hard blinded left, we have blinded right as well, okay? So I'm not making it partisan here, but let me continue. They always have within their slogans, right? Attacking Trump, the right, the conservatives, the libertarians as, the rich people, the mega corporation, big business people, the heartless capitalists, the scumbag people. These are always within their points whenever they refer to the right, to the libertarians, to anything but the left. But the facts, let's look at the facts. Let's not engage in any speculations. Let's not even overgeneralize. Go look at the facts. Look at the facts, factual numbers, factual names. When you look at all these major mega corporations, right? Within the mainstream media, those who own mainstream media, social media platforms, big pharma, even the military-industrial complex, all those billionaires, right? Billionaires pouring billions of dollars together into these NGOs. Therefore, those NGOs, the political NGOs, I'm not talking about soup houses here, they're all on the left. Billionaire Zuckerberg, New World Order left. Jeff Bezos, the New World Order left. George Soros, the New World Order left. Rockefeller and its foundations and NGOs, the New World Order left. Bill Gates, the New World Order left. Think of all these billions and billions of dollars Think of the ones who have consolidated the media, okay? The owners, okay? The directors of the mainstream media, the New World Order left, the New World Order left, and the NWO left. Look at CNN. Okay, because during George W. Bush, that was when I blew the whistle, by the way. I was gagged by him, and that was the Republican Party, right? Let's remind some of those people who may not be familiar with my background. Well, they always point out to big corporations, including CNN, saying these are corporate-owned capitalists, pro-business, pro-capital, right people. Well, they are not. You look at the CNN, then why is it that CNN only promotes and supports the New World Order left? The Antifa, the BLM, and the related violence and thuggery and lootery and the rest, right? Destruction. Why they all backed Biden? Washington Post and New York Times and the CNN and the NPR and you name them, they all, every single one of them, not a single exception here, right? They all backed the left, Biden, Democrats. Therefore, if you ever get engaged in some sort of a debate with these people, even though it's very hard, because it's like rabies, they can't engage in debates. It turns into attack, and lately it's actually physical attack, right? Say, really? You're throwing all this BS? Let's look at the facts. Why is it that a crook, financial, mega corporate financial guy such as George Soros is pushing the ideology of the New World Order left, and Antifa and BLM and the rest? How about the Rockefellers? How about the big oil, right? The big oil, those used to be the favorite terms used by the left. Well, you look at every single one of them, they're on the side of the left, including the CNN and the Washington Post and the New York Times and the NPR, etc., etc., etc. Okay, despite all that, this rally successfully took place. There were smaller scale ones in other cities, in the other states, but this was a successful, a very meaningful rally. And I want to thank you, those of you who participated, those of you who helped to put the word out, those of you who couldn't participate but helped with some of the communications organizations. Thank you. Thank you. With you, there is hope. And I'm not talking about only some elections. No, I'm not talking about only about some elections. There is hope for prevailing over these fascistic police state operations, climate governance, whether it's the COVID craze fascism, whether it is the terrorism-related fascism, whether it is the censorship fascism through the mainstream media and the Hollywood and the publishers, the top publishers in New York, okay? You helped restore our hope. You energized us. You proved that there is no way we're gonna say it's over. We are all doomed. It's over. They have won. Let's roll over. Let's submit. Let us be like these docile animals caged by the fascist police state in the name of COVID. We are not rolling over. I am not rolling over. Look at that rally. Hundreds of thousands of people just in Washington, D.C. with that rally are saying that we are determined that we are not rolling over. We are going to fight, we are going to resist, and therefore we are going to be victorious. Now, I don't know how long it's going to take. First of all, as our founding fathers have emphasized, it's all about eternal vigilance. They never said, look, you have vigilance for a while, get things better, correct things, okay, gain the victory, and then go and basically take it easy and chill. They said you have to constantly be vigilant. Eternal vigilance is that. So no, it will never be over, but yes, we are going and we are getting closer to that finishing victorious line. I know it's going to sound so corny and cheesy because I usually am not this optimistic. I tend to get not really pessimistic, but what I refer to as realistic, okay? Like, let's get real, people, right? Let's get real. Well, this is real. And it's the real optimism based on realism, based on logic, based on evidence. Because what I witnessed, what we have seen with that rally, with all these people who are not giving up. And again, it's not only about the elections. It is about so many things. It's about our liberties. It's about our constitutions. It's about, as far as here in this nation, it's about the USA. Defending our Constitution, defending our country, standing up and defending our nation. That's what it is about. And for me, it's not about the standing, ovation and worship of one person, one political figurehead either. Believe me, something like that may work to organize some sort of a concert and you have all the groupies show up, and there may be some factions like that whose reason, the only reason for them maybe was that. But I know, because I am reading some of the things you write and the things you're saying and the things you have been saying. It's not about one man, it's not about one president. It's about a lot of things that matter. It's about the future of our children. The current, forget about the future. Look at this. Docile animals caged. And yet you see this big faction rolling over and they're complying. Sometimes in the past, and sometimes I'm going to do it in the future too, when I come across some certain things that people consider as activism, right? I liken them to hamster on a wheel. That includes me, okay? That includes me, okay? I've been doing this for how long, okay? Go look at my background. I've been doing this for nearly 20 years, 19 years straight, nonstop, through 3 administrations. And sometimes I have felt like that hamster on a wheel. You work hard, your activism, you are writing articles, you're producing podcasts, you are screaming and trying to wake people up and say this is, like I did with 9/11, right? With the police state practices put in place using 9/11 that they created as the pretext, as a justification. Same thing we are seeing here 20 years later almost with the COVID. And then felt like the hamster, that hamster on a wheel, doing it. And I pause and I'm like, hey, I'm where I was. Or sometimes I feel like I'm going backwards. I know you feel the same, especially those of you who've been in this on a long haul, have been on it for a while, for a long time, for more than 2 decades. You know what I'm talking about. We all feel that way. But then this rally happened. Man, that was so needed. I needed that. I know you needed that. Our nation needed that. Faith, having that faith, not necessarily a religious faith, faith in goodness, faith in good prevailing over evil, determination, healthy dose of optimism, real action. See, I have been saying armchair activism on the social media ain't gonna get us anywhere. That's basically when I do feel like that hamster on a wheel, right? When I'm on the social media, it's like, how many times have I said that already in the past 10 years? But this was not armchair activism. This was action. 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 Activism in action. I don't know how many of those truckers came from other states. I'm sure many of them did. I don't know how many families they carpooled, got together, and got themselves to DC, because it matters everywhere. But in this particular case, that was quite profound. Hundreds of thousands of people, peaceful people, good people. They didn't look like bandits either. They were not so ashamed of who they are to cover their faces with, like Antifa or the COVID craze BLM. No, they were not wearing masks. They were not obscuring their faces, knowing that those cameras were rolling, the CCTVs, capturing. Remember what the Democrats, the New World Order left has been saying on CNN, front page at the top. You should be worried about your employability, because we are keeping track of you, whether on social media, whether in these rallies. If you're supporting Trump, if you're opposing COVID craze fascism, if you're opposing police state practices, okay? We are compiling a list of all of you, your faces, your irises, your names, your last names, your fingerprints, your voices. And there's gonna be the time, and that time is here, has almost arrived, that employers, mega corporations, whether it's Amazon, whether it's Facebook, whether it's, Walmart, I don't care, all of them. When you go for an interview or if you apply for a job, it's very simple nowadays, very easy. They can check you out through your Facebook and Twitter, etc. And they're gonna make other things available to them. And they're gonna say, we're not gonna hire you. That's next, that's coming, right? Being blacklisted, worse than what took place during McCarthyism. You know why worse? Because McCarthy didn't have all this technology that we have available to the deep state evildoers out there. He didn't have. His goons, his gang didn't have. FBI didn't have this technology. Now it's been made so much easier. Therefore, thus, so much more dangerous. Yet, with your chin up, you were out there. No masks. I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you, and I want to be able to sincerely express my gratitude to all of you who are on the side of good in here. I had a few other things I wanted to talk about, but I don't want to make this long, so I'm going to bypass that. I may include it in my podcast on Monday. Now I'm doing daily top news, top developments, underreported, right? Censored, blacked out developments. No, I'm not going to cover what you see every day on every single one of these outlets, headlines, CNN, NBC, ABC. No, what's the point of doing that? What makes you an alternative if all you do is parroting either some mainstream media or some crazy alternative media or a whacked up YouTuber? That's parroting. No, I report news developments, but the ones that are either underreported or not reported. I know how to dig for them, how to dig them up, because I've been doing it for a long time. I've been doing it for 20 years. So I'm going to save that for my podcast news for tomorrow. And that's for my community at Newsbud and Patreon, my new community at Patreon. So I'm not going to get into the other topics and make it longer than it already is. I don't even know what time I started, so I can't check and say, oh, I've been going for like 30 minutes or 40 minutes, who knows. I wanted to do it in person. It's Sunday. I promised my daughter that next weekend we're not going to have any video recording for your mom. Well, things happen, right? We can't really make plans, long-term plans. And yesterday, watching this, reading, watching again, I had to do it. I had to do this video. I don't know how many people are going to watch it, but regardless, I want to thank you. And I want those of you who have been feeling like me, on and off, feeling down, pessimistic, thinking it's over. It is not over. It is not anywhere near being over. It's not over. Obviously, look what happened. So unless they do the gulag fashion, sending people off to camps, which those camps should accommodate millions of people, there is hope. There is hope. And obviously, I'm not the only one, or only one of very few people who've been saying time to show it in action. And that's one way of showing it, demonstration, rallies. And you did. And I thank you for that. But there are other things. We need to establish our own viable, feasible, well-funded, with great technology in terms of infrastructure, excellent management and PR, that kind of our media, new media platforms. That's needed more than ever, more than ever. We need to do that. That's one action item that is extremely important. I would put it as number one most urgent thing, okay? On the list of urgent, very urgent things that we must do actively in action, I put media platforms, you know, not the anarchic, 5 people get together, say we're going to do media. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm talking about to dwarf, and then eliminate the CNNs. I want to see them disappear, and we can do it. Now, I know the president has been talking about establishing his own TV network and making Fox News, Fox, irrelevant and put them out of business, and he can't. Because trust me, this is when you're looking at doable actions. If somebody major like Trump establishes a network, especially after all the stuff with Fox always been fake. I have always found Fox News nauseating anyway. Fox News will go out of business because of the reputation. Even though it was illusionary, they never had the left, even most of the centrists. And because of what they have been doing, they lose that base. There is nothing left. So Fox will be put out of business. Well, heck, let's do it to the rest of them. We can. See, it's doable. I know some people, they're like, oh, they're so big, billions of dollars. Of course, deep state is backing up. There's no way we can. Yes, we can. Don't think like that. Don't put yourself in that kind of a mind frame. Yes, we can. Sure, we can. Let's put them out of business. I want to see CNN and ABC out of business. I want to see these institutions, deep state directed institutions, enabling deep state for enabling them to implement their evil plans and targets and objectives, right? Let's put them out of business. We can. We can put Twitter out of business. We can put Facebook out. We can do all of that. There are tens of millions of us. Okay? So even if we don't have sugar daddies like George Soros, which we don't, even if we don't have sugar daddies like Rockefellers and Zuckerberg and Gates, right? Well, you just do the math. Say tens of millions of people. The power of, let's say, 10 million people. 10 million people committed. You don't need a sugar daddy. And you don't need to be rich, right? Each one of them throwing in their $40, $50, some of them will be able to do more. And we have billions of dollars to do things with. Can't we? Can't we? Yes, we can. And that's the minimum. There are so many small businesses, mid-sized businesses. They are not the deep state evildoer businesses. These are honest, good businesses. Those businesses can throw in $10,000 each, $100,000 each, some of them $1 million. We can dwarf them. It's doable. We just have to put it on the list and on the top of the list. We need to have our own publishing houses. Our children need access, whether it's electronic or it's the hard copy books that are being censored, they are not being printed. These people are revisionists. They have made up a history that never existed. They have twisted things so much that it doesn't even resemble facts. Media outlets, social media platforms, all of those on the top of our list, and we can, even without sugar daddies. They've got so many sugar daddies. Even without any of those sugar daddies, we can. So therefore, we should. Well, I will have my podcast. It will be out soon, tomorrow or Tuesday morning. I want to thank you. I want to thank those of you who have been supporting my independent platform, Newsbud, that has been around since 2008, 2009. So it's been around for 12 years. And I have you, the core supporters, to thank for being able to continue doing this. And my new community members at Patreon, I want to thank you for all your support. Those of you within social media platforms who have been helping with dissemination of facts that I put out there, and also encouraging news like what happened yesterday in DC. I want to thank you all. And most importantly, for this session, I want to say it again. I hope I won't come across as cheesy, corny, fake, because I have BS detectors. I hate those things. And I can detect them. I can detect them from miles away. BS lines, you know, the puffers. They say all the sugar-coated words, etc. No, it's not that. It is sincere. I want to thank you. I want to say that I love you. I want to say that we all love you. And you're doing this, and what you did is so meaningful. And yes, I want you to know that you are making a difference, big difference. Together, major difference. So don't give up. Press on, continue, because together we can. Thank you all. This is Isabel Edmonds, having a heart-to-heart from Southwest Florida. I'll be with you soon.